Ramya ma'am, kindly please check your mic settings.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, now I have logged in two systems. Just 1 second. Hello.
Yes, madam, you are audible.
Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes,
But
ma'am, yes.
this is too low for me. Just a second. Let me check. 1 second. Okay, I don't know, some technical difficulty with my screen sharing from the laptop and from the mobile. Is the water or breaking? molecules are sitting inside. Hello?
Madam, I think the problem is with your mic.
Danger
You are
difference.
audible.
And the problem is with your headphone.
Absorption is with the headphone. Okay.
You can disconnect your headphone and talk. I think your laptop has mic.
Absorption. Your molecules. Yes, sir. Am I audible now? This is getting not connected, but it's not in the laptop.
You are audible now.
It doesn't have it. Okay. I'm so sorry here, but from laptop I'm not able to connect it at all. It is from my mobile. But am I audible now?
Yeah, it's very well, ma'am. Now it's fine.
Clear. All right. Done. Will do
All
that.
right.
Thank you so much. Yeah. 1 second. Huh? I'll just go into my sharing a PPT so it becomes easier. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. The screen
Yes,
is
ma'am.
visible.
It is visible.
Thank you. I think this should be fine. Yeah. All right. Good evening, one and all present. I'm so sorry there was a technical issue. And yeah, hopefully you had the other 5 day session, a fruitful session with all the five criteria being covered. And this is with criteria 6. So we are today into governance, leadership, and management. Right. So it's amazing. We are the crowd of this 67 plus people are the ones who are wanting to take the educational institution to the next level. And I'm glad that I am there, one among you all. So the core committee, the IQAC steering committee, each and every one of you who is striving forward towards taking the next level of leadership, in taking the students to the next level of leadership, in taking the stakeholders to the next level of leadership. I'm glad. All right, so going into this presentation. So this is something which, as an IQSC member, I used to feel uneasiest criteria, to be honest. Because the minute we look at that particular terminology called leadership and the management, we say, yeah, it's none of our business, yeah. It is the owner's problem, chairman's problem, probably a principal's problem. I have got nothing to do it, and no documents need to be provided from our end. So it's all their problem, how they exactly present themselves towards the NAC peer committee. This is how the understanding was when I probably started this as a member of IQAC way back, probably 16, 17 years back. So this is how the outlook was. Now today, probably seated in this particular chair as the head of the institution, I understand how important is this particular criteria is. So let's travel into this particular criteria. So we will probably break them into say entities and work towards each and every aspect of it. To be honest, I personally felt this particular criteria should have been the first criteria and not the curriculum. All right. Why? Because we start this particular say criteria or the entity with the vision and a mission statement. Right now, vision and a mission statement is something which is very, very important. So when you start, say, as a startup of an educational institution, I'm a founder principal of an institution, and I understand and I know how basically we started with this particular say institution. Right now, as soon as we lay the foundation stone of an educational institution, send our files to the government office for an approval, the first thing what we do is we kind of sit together and finalize the vision and the mission statement with the management. Right now, we need to have a clarity of what this particular education institution has to be, say, probably 2 decades later or 5 decades later. Now, keeping that in vision, what is it that we wanted to do? We have this mission statement in place. So what we call it as a vision statement is describing the institution's purpose. Now, the purpose, each and every one of them can have their own purpose. a institution can want to say uplift financially background students. An institution can look into girls' education. An institution can look into education towards orphan. An institution can look into educating single-parent children. An institution can look into, say, backing up farmer's child. An institution can look into backing up an army child. So this particular purpose of an institution is what we actually coin it as vision statement, right? Now, what the institution is thriving for and what it wants to achieve is something very important. Now it's a rewarding and an inspiring process altogether. So each and every holder of this institution will understand we are here for a purpose. Now that purpose is inspiring. So each and every stakeholder will have their particular say entity or say their belongingness towards the institution and taking it forward to the next level. An opportunity to articulate the characteristics that influence the institutional strategy, right? Now this is what is going to articulate what are the characteristic features, how basically we will be able to achieve what is the purpose that we have designed for. So when you have a vision statement, you have a vision, you probably have a strategy how your vision can get executed. So you execute that particular thing, and what finally you achieve is a success, because what is the purpose with which the institution has been say inceptionalized. So that is being achieved at the end of say 5 decades, 6 decades, say 100 decades. There are institutions which celebrates silver jubilee, golden jubilee, diamond jubilee, platinum jubilee, and so on and so forth. So this is very important for any educational institution. So when we sit for a vision statement, now when I say institution in vision statement, people who are now stepped into IQAC can ask me how important is it, because even before we joined the institution, the vision statement, the mission statement has been already done. Now, this vision and mission statement will have to come from each and every entity of the institution. So you have an institutional vision, you also have a department-wise vision, you can also have committee-wise vision that you can want to take it forward. So vision statement from all the committees or all the subsets or all the working working pace of this institution will have to collide together so that we achieve the institutional vision statement, right? So it defines the core reason for an institutional existence. Now the institution will have to be existing, will have to be achieving their success with each and every subsets, right? So we call each and every committee or each and every working wing of the institution as the institutional core committee, and they are supposed to be the core reason for the institution's existence and makes work more meaningful. Now, when we look at the mission statement, now mission statement is a concise explanation of the organization's reason for existence. So the concise mission statement probably can change, say 10 years once or say 15 years once. We will be able to amend according to the advancement of technology. We will be able to amend towards the upliftment of government policies, etc. So mission statement can be tweaked a bit in order to achieve the overall, the bigger picture. That is our vision statement. Now, if you talk about the difference between a vision and a mission, I would call it only it is as a time frame. Time frame, the vision is a bigger time frame compared to that of a mission statement. The difference. So the mission statement outlines all the things that your institution is doing in the present. So each and every say workforce will have to be concentrating on the commitment that they are giving towards the mission. That is, at present we are going to drive the institution in such a way that we achieve our goal. While a vision statement describes what your institution is planning to build in the future. So that's probably the planning, the future tense, and mission probably will be the present continuous tense. Okay, so keeping the vision and the mission statement, and I repeat, this is not only for the institutional vision and the mission statement. Each and every committee can have a vision and a mission statement. Each and every wing of the institution can have a vision and the mission statement, and see to it that this vision and the mission statement aligns to that of your institutional vision and the mission statement. All right. So this is the important governance that we start off with. Now, coming to the next, we call it, okay, we have a visions in place and a mission in place. Now, what is it that is very important is our effective leadership, right? Now, effective leadership, we look at the hierarchy. So every one of us will have to have the institutional hierarchy in its place. So you have probably a CMD or a chief managing director or a director or a managing trustee, followed by you have your head of the institution, say, or a principal, followed by you will have other wings. You can have an academic wing, you can have an administrative wing, you can have a financial wing, so on, so on forth. So the entire hierarchy structure is supposed to be well placed, right? It has to be clearly communicated to all the stakeholders of who will report to who and what is their job profile. Once we have a well-defined hierarchical structure in place, now this has to be displayed. Now, once it is displayed, we understand from where we are supposed to take instructions from. Now, if this is in place, now what are we looking at? Now we are talking about leadership. There are n different types of leaderships. If you look into Kotari and all that, you will have many number of types of leaderships. Now we will not discuss into in specific any leadership, but we will call it as whatever leadership that we are talking about is an effective leadership, right? Now again, each and every institution has its own type of leadership. There are institutions which are centralized and still perform good. There are educational institutions that is decentralized, still perform good. We have leaders who can be micromanagement leaders, still the institutions can go good. You can have macromanagement kind of a leadership, still the institution can go good. And you have a participatory leadership, still the institution can go good. Now, what we need to understand is what and which type of leadership that we fall into. Each and every educational institution will have to understand this. Now, once we understand this, we can always debate about what are the advantages of running it as a decentralized and what are the advantages of running it centralized. What are the advantages of having a participatory leader, or what is the advantages of having a micro leader? What is the advantages of macro leader? There is a lot amount of things that we can debate upon. Now, if you tell me, say in case I'm a lazy person who really do not want to break my head into decision making, I would obviously prefer a micro leader, a micromanagement leader, because a micromanagement leader will be taking care of each and every process. There is somebody who is giving deadline on every day basis. There is somebody who is coming back behind you and checking whether you have done that work, you have not done that work. If you have not done that work, make sure that you do that work. So this is micromanagement. So somebody like that would obviously prefer or would want to have a micromanagement leader take their institution forward, right? So each and every style of leadership can be in a in a positive sense. We can take it forward and take the leadership into a nice way. Now, if we say personally, if we feel participatory leadership is something which we are looking at. So we have a bigger picture, we have a vision, we have a mission. As a leader, the vision and the mission statement have to be communicated properly to all the stakeholders. And you must be seeing this corporate style of explaining their vision and vision. Now you will have a bigger picture of say their logo, and everywhere their taglines would be given. So that is what is their vision and the mission statement, which is made clear to all their customers. You take any brand, any bigger brand. I do not want to advocate any brand, but you think of any bigger brand, you also will remember their tagline. You take it from a coffee, a Nescafe, to say an Audi car. You will remember their tagline, right? Now, if in case you have their that is what their importance is. So you are explaining your customer. That is, you are explaining your stakeholder. This is your specialty. Now, this speciality, which is your vision and your mission, will have to be displayed clearly. So you have a vision and a mission displayed clearly, communicated clearly to all the stakeholders, and you also you have your hierarchy structure in place, and you also have a participatory leader who gives you a bigger task, who has already told you this is what I want. And also tells you that I will be there to you with you whenever you want it. If you do not want, I will not come in your way. You can move forward and get your task completed. What I want is just the final product, nothing more than that, but I will definitely be there if in case you require. Macro leader is I wanted this, and you can achieve it in whichever way you want, but I will want whatever I wanted for. That is your vision. That is exactly what has been communicated. So this is an institutional practice which you can explain with an example of a case study from your institution. Okay. Now I can give an example. I can give that probably we have a leader who is a participatory leader, who listens to every stakeholder, takes in whatever suggestions comes from our end, finalizes this is what is right to take the institution forward to the next level towards achieving the goal, gives the autonomy to all of us to take it forward, and whenever there is a hiccup, we are always told we can get back to them and they will help us out, and once you are done, you have the success for that particular task, right? Now this is a case study. You can give an example either of a conference or of an alumni meet or of a research grant or of an examination week. It can be anything that you can give it as a case study, which you can explain from the management, that is from the director level or a managing trustee level till the execution, probably either the stakeholder who is a student or an alumni or a parent. To that level, you can explain, telling that this is a style of leader, an effective leader that your institution has. Go to the next one. So this is your institutional strategies that we are trying to explain. Now the institutional strategies, when we want to talk about, there are different strategies. I told you that this is the goal, this is the method by which we can achieve it. Now, keeping that in mind, there is a way by which the strategies will have to be designed. Now, designing the strategies is a humongous task. You have to have all the stakeholders in place so that this is efficient and effective. Now we will have hierarchy. So I told you already the hierarchy is in its place. So you have the next level of hierarchy where we are looking at, we have divided the head of the institution has divided the job profile or probably delineated the mission and has segregated into small entities. And right now we are put under, say, probably 4 different entities. Now in them, you have administration, you have an academics, you have an extension services, and you also have a financial entity. Now, keeping this 4, so these 4 are the next level of hierarchical system, which sees or oversees that we are channelizing our mission to achieve a bigger picture, which is our mission. Now, when we look into administration, now you all of us know that we have a AAA, so we already have an academic audit, we have an administrative audit, we have a green audit, we have a financial audit, we have many audits now. Now, this administrative audit is this administrative strategy. So there are many strategies with which the administration functions. Right? Now, when we look at the implementation of it, every stakeholder will have to be a part of this strategies. So this has to be a well communicated strategy such that this execution becomes important. Okay. Now, when we have an institutional bodies that is effective and efficient, so you will have to have policies in place. So when you have administration, there should be a set of policies that are clearly mentioned. Say it can be a service manual, or it can be rules book, or it can be your institutional say diary. It can be anything. It can be your service rules, appointments, your protocol that you follow for your say recruitment. It could be anything. Now there should be an effective way of communication. So which means to say that there should be a written document for all of this. So if you have an administration, if you are recruiting a faculty, right, the faculty will have to have all the information regarding administration. Now, you should not tell probably after a year that your profession will be continued. there should be a clear-cut instruction when, till when the faculty will be on probation, or when the faculty will be eligible for the next level of promotion, or when the faculty will be eligible for next level of increment, when the faculty will be eligible for any of the say encashments or leaves or anything. So there should be a well-defined document or policy that has to be coming from all the four subsets that I have explained. So you have administrative, academic again. A student comes into the institution. You need to have a handbook. The student will have to understand what is the vision, what is the mission statement, what is the importance of this particular institution. Say we can even call it as a USB of the institution. Because of this particular factor, I joined this college, is what the student will tell, right? So that is, so you need to explain what is your USB, or what is a USB which has drawn students for admission inside the college. You also will have to have a protocol, a diary which explains how their internal assessments will go, how their formative assessments will go, what is the rules that they have to have, what is their attendance percentage that is has to be there, what is the mode of communication to the parents. Everything from the academic desk will have to go to the stakeholders. Likewise for the extension services, likewise for the financial commitment committee. See, I had a case study wherein we went for a mock visit for another college, and what we found was financial committee has not explained to the students, telling that they have a medical policy, they have a group student insurance policy. The management has done it for the student, but they had not communicated to the student. When they don't communicate to the student, how will the student even know that they fall under that particular category, right? So there should be effective communication of these institutional strategies to the stakeholders. Okay, then we go for strategy planning. Now, when we look for strategy planning, most of the time it is a case study that the NAC expects us to basically explain. Now, I have put this research and consultancy because as an example, right? Now, as a wing that operates on academics, right? Now, academics is a very huge subset that we are talking about. Now, under that, I am now concentrating only on one single point, which could be research and consultancy. Okay. Now, if this research and consultancy will have to have a participation of administration, will have to have a participation of finance, will also have to have a participation of extension activities, and also it is a part of academics, right? Now, the case study will have to be written in such a way that all four subsets are given equal importance in having a strategy planning. So there should be a well-defined research, say I would say head of research and development or research and consultancy. You can call it as head, you can call it as director, you can call it as dean, you can call as coordinator, you can term the way you want. You have in a hierarchical structure, you have a person who is going to follow it on this research and consultancy, right? Now, this particular person, say, let me give an example, I call it as a dean of research and consultancy. Now, this particular dean will have to strategize the policy for research and consultancy, right? Now, these policies will have to cover the financial implications. So, if there is a grant that comes in, now how it has to be channelized, how they have to be, bills have to be submitted, how much of grant will go to the individual principal investigator, and if that particular research is going to the next level of consultation, what is the percentage that the institution would get, what is the percentage that the principal investigator would get, and it also covers the extension services, that if the research is useful for the nearby community, say a nearby society. Now then the societal value will have to come in. They will have to prove that it has a societal value. Then you finish the strategy planning and financial planning, you come to the administrative thing, entity will have to take care of how basically this policy is being communicated to each and every researcher of the institution. They will have to devise the workload division of what is the number of hours the faculty is given for research, how many hours is being given for teaching. So that takes care of the administration, and if there is a on-site duty, lab facilities will have to be utilized from the other neighboring institutions. Now, what is the strategy? All this will have to be clearly it has to be mentioned for the administrative purpose. Right, so you cannot tell one particular researcher that yeah, you can go out today, you can finish your lab work and come. Probably tomorrow morning you can log in, and you tell another faculty, no, you have to finish, you have to come back and log out, and then only you have to go home. So these kind of difficulties will have to not crop up when you have a organized structure of planning. So this dean research and consultancy will have to have an administrative clarity, will have to have a research clarity, will have to have a extension services clarity, and also have a financial clarity. This is your strategy planning. So when you write a case study, you need to cover up all these 4 entities together and give an example. Okay, then you have all of them. Now this becomes too much of tedious job when we do it manually. So what comes up and pitches in and helps us out is the implementation of e-governance. Now we all knew this ERP tool, LMS, all that probably from a long time. Now we also have a integrated version of it. You can call it as IMS, HETI. So this is HETI is a holistic enterprise technical advancement or institution, and IMS. So all of them are something to do with the e-governance. Right? Now this e-governance, when we have, this takes care of the complete autonomy of an educational institution. Say from the point of, say if in case we are talking about an affiliated college, or you're talking about an autonomous institution, where everything becomes the complete governance is under our hands. Now we start from how basically we communicate that we are so and so. Right, that is what is our USB and why somebody will have to choose us. So that we can call it as either marketing or branding. Let's put it across like that. Now your tools, your e-governance will have to start from that point of digital marketing to getting your stakeholders. So it can be customers. You call it as customers, you call it students, you call it as stakeholders. So they will have to understand that yes, your institution is worth a USP. They would come forward and take the application. So that we call it as a footfall. So footfall of the educational institution. So from there, the record starts. So you have 1,000 people coming in, walking into the institution. You have only 500 people taking the application. There is a strategy that you have to use. You need to evaluate yourself, and you have to come up with an outcome telling why out of 1,000, only 500 pick the application. Okay, imagine out of 1,000, 900 picks the application. Okay, you are happy till that point. Now, out of 900 applications taken, you have only admissions again 400. Then again, you'll have to sit back and understand why after taking the application, why there is no conversion rate. Right? So there is a strategy that has to be implemented to understand this particular. So what I'm making sure is every data that gets collected gives you a different picture altogether. When you look at our government in a long sense, right? The only data collection, there is even a famous movie. I don't remember the movie's name. Some Arvind Sarja's movie says information. Information is everything at this point of time, right? Now this is everything. It is for us even as in an educational institution. So from the time that we are issuing the application form till we receive the application form, till we have say admissions done based on merit list, you can have 1, 2, 3 merit lists. You have a criteria for understanding this based on what you're having a merit list. Then you have a financial commitment. So whatever the finance that is being collected from the student in the form of tuition fee, whether we are doing justice to it. From there, what is the transparency that we are following for having this fund getting optimally utilized, and from there for students entry into the induction or orientation into the institution, student tracking system, we'll call it as LMS, right? So LMS, learning management systems, will make sure that students' attendance, formative assessment, examinations, their internal assessments, the seminars, and so on and so forth, their involvement in the research, their involvement in the extension services, all of them get recorded. right? Finally, you go to an examination wing takes care of it. Finally, you have the marks entered, you have a marks being displayed, there is a transparency in the marks given, and then you have the final output, that is the student with what hope that the student has entered your institution, you have made sure that that is being attained at the end of the educational period, say either it is 3 years or 4 years. So this is your implementation of e-governance. Now, let's go into the faculty empowerment. Now, leadership makes a lot of impact on the faculty, right? They are the second line say I will call it as improvement. So they are the ones who are going to fine tune the entire process of our strategies getting implemented. So they are the ones who are supposed to be highly motivated at every given point. Right? When we say faculty empowerment, we need to be motivating the faculty on daily basis. I would even say hourly basis. The whole purpose of all the faculty meetings, the FDP programs that what you are attending now is one such example. So we have a faculty empowerment strategies that has to be in place. So it can be from say GPF, there can be medical benefits that can be given to a faculty. There is a gratuity that has to be there, a group insurance, maternity leave, paternity leave, a childcare facility in the institution, residential quarters. Maybe not everybody would be able to do it, but residential quarters on official duty assignments. If a faculty goes out as a resource person, honoring them and recognizing them in an efficient way, allowing the faculty to say attend the FDP programs, also allow the faculty to conduct FDP programs. You can be a source of inspiration as well. So conduct FDP programs. You can train the teachers with training programs, and they in turn can train the others as well. Workshop, say again, income tax related issues. This is nothing to do with the academics at all, but still, as a welfare measure, you can organize workshops on income tax related issues. You can explain them stock markets. You can explain the investment plans. All of them can be a part of empowering the faculty. You can have an exclusive HR wing which takes care of their well-being. There is any kind of a grievance. Say students, we have students grievance cell. You have an anti-ragging cell. You have a sexual harassment cell. You have so on and so forth. Likewise, you can have also an efficient HR wing which understands the faculty difficulties and also puts it forward to the next person in the hierarchy. You can organize medical camps. I have a case study of a medical camp where a college organized a medical camp for a women's day, and all the women of the institution was like, oh my god, ma'am, no, we wanted something fun. You could have organized sports for us, you could have organized a cultural fest for us, not a health camp. I'm really very scared. I don't want to go and check myself and feel sorry for how I have taken my lifestyle. And you will not believe, at that one particular year, we found a lady who is probably only 33, 34 years of age, who's been diagnosed with a type of a cancer, and that went to a next level where we referred them for a mammogram, and she also got cured because she had two small kids, one in second standard and one in seventh standard. So she's still alive because of that medical camp. So that can be really meaningful for faculty. So this is one of empowerment strategy that the college or an institution can look forward for. A facility for a differently abled, taking them in and making sure that they are comfortable in the place. And you also can have team building activities. It can be the form of say outing, outreach programs, trips, anything that the HR wing will plan exclusively. So this can be again one team building activity that every one of us can think about. Now, you have financial support towards enrichment programs. Financial support towards enrichment programs is by default every institution would do, but you need to have a case study to explain them. So you can have a orientation, that is orientation towards for what the financial assistance will be given and what kind of a contribution will be well appreciated if a financial support is required. You can have an induction program, so inducting people so that they understand that the facilities are good enough for them to take it forward their mission in achieving their vision. You have refresher courses, even that can be supported by the management. So refresher courses, usually the UGC sponsored refresher courses are 45 days to 1.5 months, and always the management will say, out of 3 months of a semester, if I send my faculty for 1.5 months, what is the implication that the students will have, or the faculty, the education would have on the students. So this refresher course is now made say little flexible. You can also go for an online UGC sponsored refresher course. Becomes much more meaningful now. So every institution should look forward to making sure that the faculty members attend the refresher courses that UGC sponsors. You also can help them out with short term courses. Say if a computer science faculty wants to learn CorelDRAW, kindly please send them. Faculty wants to understand Python programming, please do send them. Faculty wants to learn SPSS software, okay, please send them. So there should be enough amount of encouragement from the management side, which will make sure that the mission statement is going to get achieved, or the vision statement is going to get achieved in the long term. So this kind of a management is somebody who can uplift the faculty to a next level, motivate them on every minute basis, every hour basis, because we must have also probably have asked many of our colleagues, nothing, there is no pay package, there is nothing there, why are you even sticking on to that place for so many years? Now this is the reason. It may not be directly there is an encouragement, but that empowerment that the institution gives will make sure that the attrition rate is to the least, and that will take the institution to the next level and have the stakeholders confident in your institution. All right, then this is a performance appraisal system, which is an example that I have given you. Is it can you people I'm sorry, is it visible, like is the letters visible?
Not exactly, ma'am, not exactly.
1 second, I'll just try zooming up. One second, just give me a second. Okay, is it visible now? I don't know, I don't think so. I can zoom in. No, I think I'm not
No,
able
ma'am.
to, I'm not able to zoom in. I'm sorry. All right, I will orally probably explain.
All right.
One second. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, now this is a performance appraisal system. I would explain that. See, there would be this is your key performance area. That's what we call it as. So you can have the specification. So this is a self-appraisal format. Self-appraisal form would be technically given to a faculty on the induction day, right? The day that you are inducting a faculty into your educational system, you will give a self-appraisal form. Now this form probably will tell what is a mandate requirement that the institution requires from a faculty in terms of number of hours of workload, till the research acumen of the teacher, of the faculty, their way of communication to the stakeholders, and so on and so forth. So this probably, if in case possible, I will share it with you people. Right now, I am not able to share it. I will have to get it from my mail if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 1 second. Okay, now I think now you can see the frame.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, is this visible now?
Yeah.
hands.
Yes. Yes.
Is this visible now, sir?
Yes,
ma'am.
yes, ma'am, we can read through that.
Okay, so these are the few parameters that I'm giving it as an example. So you have mentoring. Mentoring is a compulsory one that has to be done. So you have to have a mentoring cell, and each and every faculty will have to be a mentor for certain number of students. So you have number of students to be enclosed on a proctor file. So you make sure that a faculty is a mentor. Faculty's involvement in extracurricular activities, faculty's involvement in other activities, say co-curricular, extracurricular activities. They are mentors of slow learners or they are mentors of advanced learners. They have workshops and seminars that they have attended. If they have not attended, whether they have conducted any. If they have conducted any, what is the implication and outcome of it? Is there any faculty who has attended the faculty development program? If not attended, whether they have conducted one such faculty development program, and then contribution towards college work apart from curricular and co-curricular activities. So this can be extension services or outreach program. You have qualification enhancements. If they have paper publication, only the UGC listed ones are taken into consideration by say NAC peer team, but we also consider a non-UGC listed one. If in case we have freshers being inducted, we need to appraise them, we need to train them the way they have to write it for a peer reviewed journal. So this can also be considered for an appraisal format. May not be for a scoring, but for an appraisal format. Whether they have worked as a evaluator of any of the universities, any such universities. It can be if there is any innovative teaching practice. So this innovative teaching practice has to be mentioned in their work plan. You have a student attendance, a syllabus completion in stipulated time, which has been taken as a feedback from the students as well. Student results, each and every faculty, their subject results that has to be displayed. If they have gone out of their way in getting a field study, a visit for students, one second. Visit for students. Then involvement in NSS activities, publication of the book, worked as an evaluator, frequency of library visits, the frequency of parents meeting and counseling, availment of leave if they are taking too much of leave, more than this, is there on LOP or etc. etc. Key goals, if they in specific wanted to do something, right? That can be also given by them, which has not been specified by the institution, but it is their interest. If they are project guides, they could be project guides, they could be research guides, they could be PhD research guides, they could be any guides. Any initiatives that they have taken in signing an MOU towards the advancement of an education. Now, all this can be given to the faculty on the day of induction, and this is a grading system that is given, right? There is number of years of experience to what is experience in-house and out-house, outside the campus, what is the maximum points that they can given, what is the credit point for each and every unit that we are calculating. Based on that and based on the coordinator's review, one-on-one with the principal, this particular appraisal can get a scoring. Now, based on the scoring, you can have your appraisals being done. You can have brackets. You can have faculty being grouped into 3 or grouped into 4 brackets, wherein you get the information on the appraisal, right? So this is your appraisal form, that we are talking about. So this is again done for all the staff. You have a support staff, you have a non-teaching staff, you have admin staff, and you also have a teaching staff. Now this has to be devised in such a way that it takes care of all the stakeholders, and takes it to a next level. Then you have financial management. Now, financial management is a very key role whenever you have an advancement in an educational institution. Money is the powerhouse. So you always have money playing a big role in any initiative that you want to take it from the college end, right? So the financial management. So there should be regular audits. Now, audits, if there is a finance head or a finance manager, will take care of the external audits. Usually we do not want that to be elaborated much, but what we are supposed to be bothered about is the internal audits. So internal audits, every department will have to have an internal audit. Every committee will have to have an internal audit. There should be something called as a budget given at the beginning of the academic year, and also tallying it at the end of the financial year. And the same audit that is being done internally will have to be submitted to the financial manager, which will further be taken up for the external audits. So when this internal audits are in place, the external audits will be in place, which also makes sure that each and every department, the amount that they are spending, most of the time it is not overspending, it is underspending. I would say you give a department, say department of history, you say this is a fund that has been allocated for this academic year. Spending that money, say in an organized format is not easy. So you need to have this particular audits. So you have the internal audits, which also says that the delegation of funds is in a right way. So the fund that is allocated by the department will have to be spent sensibly. We'll have to make sure that the students have gone one level higher academically, or say curricular, co-curricular wise, with the fund that is being given or allocated towards the department. Right? So this is usually they would not take the money, because who will sit and do the internal audit, will do the budget, will have to tally the money, give it to the accounts department to answer all their questions, is what usually the tendency is. But this is not the right way that we take the financial management systems to the next level. So you need to have regular audits, you need to have internal audits, and the internal audits will have to support our external audits. All right. So then comes our fund mobilization and optimal utilization. I just now told. So there should be a case study where you tell that this is the fund that we have generated, and this is how we have mobilized the say fund. Now this again, I can give an example. Say usually a college will have an alumni association, right? Now how do we go about it? We have an alumni association. We have a registered alumni association. You have members of alumni. You also do alumni fund. So you either collect it voluntarily, that is every alumni can, whoever wants to be a member of the alumni association would have a registration fee through which you will collect a fund that we call it as an alumni fund. Now this alumni fund you're collecting, so there is either thousands or lakhs or crores of money based on the number of years the educational institution is there from inception. Now this fund, what you have, not all the time you need to utilize it towards an alumni meet. That's what usually happens. The college would conduct an alumni meet. What all they will do is they will call all the students, they will come, culturals will be organized, food will be organized, a photographer will be organized. So the students will come, eat, have a nice session of photograph and leave. Right? Now this is not the right way a fund mobilization would happen. Now if the alumni fund is utilized towards research, towards admission of a underprivileged student, towards sanitary upliftment of a neighboring community, towards a guest lecture, towards anything. So likewise, you need to have a case study where a fund that is generated gets mobilized, and also there is an optimal utilization till there is an end point, which can be given as an example or a case study, which will make more sense for the financial management systems in the institution. Now, there should be a contribution. See, after speaking so long, what is this, ma'am? There is a contribution by IQAC. IQAC is the only wing, only a heart that has significantly contributed to every wing of the college. That's not the case. So in particularly in criteria 6, that is in governance, what is the role of IQAC? If in case we'll have to look into it. There is this quality audits, right? Like how a financial auditing is important, likewise a quality audit is very, very important. Okay, so this is one of the main role the IQAC will have to concentrate on. So they will have to make sure that all the audits, from energy audit, from green audit, from academic audit, financial audit, administrative audit, every audit is in its place. So that is one significant contribution that IQAC will have to do in having the governance and leadership and to the and the management in place. Now, taking the institution, validating the institution in different grounds. It could be NERF, it could be a NAC, it could be NBA, it can be AICT, it can be ISO, it can be IO. It can be any governing body which will validate an educational institution. So they will have to take it forward, take the institution, make sure the institution gets enough exposure to global bodies such that they will improve their quality in education. IQAC will also should make sure that they are a mentoring college. We need to grow to a level where we are a mentoring college, where we can mentor the other institution in a level where they can take their institution as well forward. Right? An IQAC can give an example. It can be going to a next level where it is e-governance, or technologically an advanced institution can organize for video conferencing, can take up an NPTEL center, make sure that every student enrolls for one such NPTEL program, and via which there can be a formative assessment. IQSC also can handle social media handles. Social media handles are very important. It is not all the time a negative feedback. You also have an positive implications that can come out of this particular social media handle. So that can be one. Online classes and so on and so forth. So there should be a significant contribution by IQAC to the educational institution. With this, I think I conclude my session on governance, leadership, and management. So, if there are any questions, that I would be, I'd be happy to take it forward.
Dear participants, if there is any query, you can ask. The forum is open for you. Participants, is there any query?
Either they understood it completely, or probably they must have slept, and my session went like a lullaby, so everybody slept. That's okay. I think we can conclude, madam, if there are no questions.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. Yes.
Ma'am, very nice presentation, ma'am. My question is, NIRF ranking is very important for all the arts colleges, ma'am, or participation.
Madam, participation is very important. Ranking makes a lot of difference. When there is a ranking that comes down, it will help you people to say advance yourself. So that will they will tell you the ground in which you can improve upon, so that if the ranking will go higher. So it is good to have the say global bodies inspecting you. See, otherwise we need not even go for the NAT accreditation. Years back it was not even mandatory. So NAT assessment or ISO or IO we have taken up even when it was not mandatory, which means to say that every institution which is looking forward to advance themselves in the field of education would want an external body to come assess them so that they will be able to improvise on themselves. So that's important.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I have a question, madam. You were talking about refresher courses and induction programs and all. So, as an affiliated college, we are not supposed to conduct refresher courses or orientation programs. It will be done by the HRDCs.
Correct, sir. I said you need to be participating in the UGC sponsored refresher courses. But FDP programs, yes, even as an affiliated college, you can conduct FDP programs.
FDP can conduct, yes. But in the case of refresher orientation, induction programs and all, mostly it is done by the HRDCs or academic staff colleges.
Right, right. What I meant is you need to send your faculty to attend one such program, because usually what we come across, it is usually 1.5 months of program, and a semester which is just a 3 month duration program. 1.5 months, if I send the faculty for a refresher course, I do not have hands to complete the academic session. Is a complaint which is widely heard from all the affiliated colleges, including mine.
Voice is
But what Hello, you can hear me now, sir?
now it's better, madam.
Yeah. So what I meant is, see, any affiliated colleges, including mine, if you say that 1.5 months I will have to spare a faculty to understand to attend a refresher course. Now I would say that, say, 3 months only is a semester. 1.5 months if I let go of a faculty, now it will directly impact the education, the workload onto the students. Now usually as a principal, I would not prefer sending any faculty, not because the faculty we should not upskill themselves, but because the absence of the faculty will be felt in academics, right? So now what I said is, recently they have come up with online refresher courses. So I am only requesting the stakeholders, or requesting the management, if they are listening to the session, to make sure that the faculty attend at least an online refresher course.
Okay, that's fine. We have a metric where we talk about the number of teachers who have attended online or face-to-face orientation refresher and FDP and all those stuff.
Correct.
There is another metric where we talk about the programs organized.
Programs organized in the sense, sir, you are talking about short-term programs, or what? What is it?
Yeah, the orientation refresher and all those.
Sir, conducting of a refresher courses will not be same validation would be given as that of what the UGC sponsored refresher courses would be considered as.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay, the session was highly informative, ma'am. Moreover, the clarity of your thought was really beneficial for us to have a sequence of ideas in the governance and leadership and management. My question is, would you please detail us on something regarding the various statutory and non-statutory bodies that could function in a college for an effective governance and management? And I have one more question. For optimal utilization of funding, I could not actually record those informations when you mentioned. You had shown a slide regarding optimal utilization of funds also. So if you just give us a detail regarding that, that would be fine, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, regarding the optimal utilization of the fund, ma'am, usually fund, there are two different ways of looking at the fund generation, right? Fund which the management allocates towards the academics. There is management that allocates fund towards research. There is actual institutional budget which comes from the management. That is one type of fund that we are talking about. The other type of fund is what we generate, either in terms of research grants, or in terms of sponsorships, or in terms of scholarships. Now, what we are talking about is fund. Fund is there. It can be even alumni fund. Now, fund is there with us. Now, we need to utilize the fund in an effective way, right? So that is what we call it as mobilizing the fund towards a channelized way of utilizing the fund, wherein it directly implicates the students. Say that, which means there should be an end point. It should be a value-based one. It should be a quantitative way of say reporting that the fund that we have generated has given an outcome, where the outcome is a quantitative one and not a qualitative one, right? Now this is what we call it as fund generation and optimal utilization. So you mobilize it and optimally utilize it. The example that I gave was the alumni fund. So there is an alumni fund which is getting generated. So as and when an alumni registers herself or himself into an alumni association, they give a membership money. Now that money is what we call it as an alumni fund. Now over a period of years, that would be a big amount that also will be have to be utilized and mobilized in a proper way. See, you have it in the account is not what you can be very proud of telling that I have generated so many lakhs of alumni fund. That's not what it is. So you have generated an alumni fund that has to be mobilized. You mobilizing is nothing but looking at channels where it can have an impact on the stakeholders directly. Now when you're utilizing it in terms of, say for example, that fund you are utilizing for educating an underprivileged student, right? Now this is a quantitative matrix where you can report telling that the fund that has been generated is optimally utilized towards a cause. Now this is holds good for all the grants. It can be a research grant, it can be a scholarship that we have got, or it can be any fund that has been raised out of a conference, out of a extension activity, out of an outreach program. It could be anything. There should be a structured way of utilizing that fund and reporting or documenting it as well. Now, this is the answer for the second question. The first question, statutory and non-statutory committees. By now, if in case we are talking about IQAC, then the IQAC by now would have given the list of statutory committees and non-statutory committees that has to be operating towards the improvement of an educational system, ma'am. So there is no hard and fast rule that these many committees will have to function. But of course, there are mandatory committees. Other than that, the IQAC can come up with many innovative way of looking at things and getting into committees. See, you can have even a human trafficking committee, which probably is not always, not every university has it as a mandatory committee. There can be a committee which respects legends. So that could be one committee. So there are different committees which an IQAC can chalk out, and to that topological or a geographical location of the college, they can have different committees as well. So there is no hard and fast rule for that. But yes, IQAC will make sure that there are enough number of committees that will take care of both of them.
Okay, sure. Thank you, ma'am.
Any other query? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ramya ma'am, for such an informative session. Your
Thank you,
thoughts
ma'am.
and detailed explanation have cleared many of our doubts regarding the governance, leadership, and management. I hope many of us would have been benefited through your session, ma'am. Thank you so much. Before the vote of thanks, I request the participant to make a note on that tomorrow's session will be started at 3 o'clock. I repeat, tomorrow's session will be started at 3 to, that will be happening between 3 to 4 p.m. Now I would request Dr. Durga Devi, Head Department of Chemistry, to deliver the vote of thanks.
A warm and graceful evening to our speaker of the day, Dr. B. Ramya ma'am, organizing committee members, dear participants, my dear colleagues, and everyone gathered here. I, on behalf of Mangayakarasi College of Arts and Science for Women and the entire fraternity of the institution, I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Ramya ma'am, who spared time to grace the occasion. Today, we had an opportunity to gain knowledge and know more details about governance, leadership, and management. Definitely, we will try to implement the ideas and suggestions in near future, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I thank all the participants for active participation and